We've said that as part of your first aid needs assessment, you should work out what type of first aid personnel you need in your organisation, or in other words, what type of first aid training do you need as a member of staff. So in the workplace, there are three main types of first aid personnel that you can have. The first type is called an appointed person. An appointed person has never been on a formal first aid course like this one that you're on. Instead, there's someone that's simply just picked in your organisation, and that person is responsible for two key things if an emergency arises. First of all, they're responsible for making sure there's a first aid kit which is always available and appropriately stocked. Second thing they're responsible for doing is making sure that they call the emergency services in an emergency situation if it's necessary, but they don't have to perform any first aid themselves because they've never been trained to do so. The next type of first aid personnel that you might have in the workplace is called an emergency first aid worker. This person's been on a one-day standard first aid course like you're on. This person can treat a range of different first aid scenarios. The third type of first aider that you might have in your organisation is someone called a first aid worker. This person's been on a detailed 3-day course and they should be able to treat pretty much any type of first aid scenario that they come across. When would you have each of these individuals? Well, we classify areas into low hazard and high hazard. A low hazard area would be like a shop or an office environment. If you have fewer than 25 members of staff and you're in a low hazard environment, you can just have an appointed person. If you've got 25 to 50 members of staff, you need to have an emergency first aid worker. And if you have up to 100 members of staff, we'd recommend you have a first aid worker. On top of this, you need to make sure there's always a first aider available at all times. So you need to make sure if you work in different locations or on different shifts, you always have a first aider available, which might mean that you need more first aiders than is listed in this table. The ratios are slightly different in a high hazard environment, such as a factory, workshop, or an outdoor setting such as an activity centre or water sports centre. This table provides some guidance on the type and number of first aiders that you might need in a high hazard environment, but your exact requirements will depend on your needs assessment and the specific type of hazards that you have in your environment. So for example, many activity instructors require a 2-day or 3-day first aid at work qualification, even though they only work with 5 or 6 people at a time, just because the hazards where they're working are particularly harmful and require that higher level of qualification. So this table should only be used as guidance. On top of these 3 main qualifications, there are other courses that you can attend, such as oxygen therapy or managing catastrophic bleeding, but these are considered specialised courses which are bolt-ons on top of those 3 standard qualifications that we've already mentioned. In the UK, most first aid qualifications need to be renewed every 3 years. If you hold a 1-day emergency first aid at work qualification, you'll need to attend the full 1-day course again every 3 years in order to keep it valid. If you hold a 3-day first aid at work qualification, if your qualification is still in date, then you can choose to attend a 2-day refresher course, but if your qualification has expired, then you'll need to attend the full 3-day course once again. On top of this, annual refresher training lasting for half a day to 1 day is recommended to keep your skills up to date, but it's not compulsory in order to keep your qualification valid.